Hey, everybody. It's I Said What I Said. Welcome to the Mac Man After Dark show. I kind of like that intro music. I've been kind of letting it play for about a minute, and I like this music. Sound pretty good. It's real smooth and nice. Um, but I am going to have to end it so that we can go ahead and get on with tonight's show. But, I think it's a nice sound until I can get some intro music going on for the night show. But welcome to the MacMan After Dark show, guys. And like I said, I'm your host tonight. I said what I said, and hopefully I can have some other people join me. If not, then I'll just do the show. The show must go on. And so tonight, we're gonna talk about do we expect too much from our black mayors? And so I know we've been focusing on Tiffany Henyard a lot from Dalton. And so she's not the only mayor, um, that's doing a lot of stuff. And so there are other mayors um, that are doing some of the same things that the people are claiming that she's doing. So she's not the only one that have a storyline, but unfortunately she's the only one that's trending right now, because the other mayors, people are not really paying them that much of attention. For a while they were in the news. I think Mayor Brandon Johnson from Chicago, he's kind of been in the news lately. But I got some footage that I'm going to show you guys tonight, and we're gonna get into this. We're gonna talk about this because I want to know: are we really expecting too much out of our black mayors? Because I never really hardly see anybody talking about other mayors, and I'm not saying that they're not doing anything wrong, because I wholeheartedly fully believe that it's other races of mayors that are doing things wrong. It's just that it's not publicized. And you know how America is. Anytime that black people do anything, we're ostracized for it. We're gonna get we have to dot I's and cross T's, and we have to be extra great in order to do anything. Hi, and I just like to say welcome, Lady T Bug. Hello, LC. You guys, I'm glad to see you guys in the chat tonight. And I'm gonna go ahead and drop my link so you guys can come up on the StreamYard and help me discuss this about all of these mayors that we have going on. And we've talked about them, Lady T, but we've talked about these mirrors on your channel. And so I just thought it would be a unique thing to, put somebody else out there in the forefront. Of course, we're going to talk about the super mayor because she's always doing super crazy things. But like I said just a second ago, she's not the only one that's doing things out here in the public. I have dropped my link, so if anybody want to join me on the panel, you more than welcome. um, we will be behind the banner, so we don't you don't have to show your face or anything. And so but let me get back to what I was saying. So what I was saying was I feel like and thank you, LC, thank you for joining. We're trying to get our subscribers up also, so thank you. And let me just go ahead and say hello to everybody in the chat, and then I'll finish up. Hello, Lady T Book. Shout out, shout out. And LC, Q Law 05. Hi, how you guys doing tonight? And so what I was saying was, I'm pretty sure it's some Caucasian mayors doing some things. And it's one thing about them, they know how to be quiet. Black people, we like to be flamboyant. We like to show off. And whatever we have, we want the world to know. We don't actually really know how to be quiet about the things that we do. But the clear people, they have a real knack for that. No matter what's going on with their man or their person or whomever, even if you don't know what's going on, you'll find out later. But while they're doing what they're doing, nobody never really know a lot of times. They just know how to be quiet and be incognito. And so I'm not saying being fraudulent to the people and defrauding the people and doing heinous things that you're not supposed to do is not wrong. But what I am saying is Some people just know how to be quiet about doing those things. And so, and you're absolutely right, Q Law. We do want people to show common sense and integrity. But unfortunately, we don't get that all the time. And in this day and time, um, the clown show is in. Okay. It's to me, it's cool to be fraudulent. It's cool to do smoke and mirrors. It's cool not to do your job. And everybody is accepting the social media life. To me, everybody is living a fake life, and they're living, a lot of these government officials are living, are doing their job on social media. And so they are allowing social media to direct their paths, and they interact with people on social media. And so sometimes it could be smoke and screens, and you just don't really know what they're doing. And a lot of these mayors are doing a lot of giveaways. I know Mayor Henyard like to do giveaways. Some mayors give out tax breaks to grease palms. Some mayors help out different charities and organizations. And then some of them, link up with the union. And so everybody have their own agenda and how they got in office. And a lot of times, once they get in office, they have to try to stay in office. Hello, Nola Brown. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, once they get in office, they want to be able to remain in office. And so you do have to do, you have to show your constituents that you do appreciate them. But I feel like Mayor Henyard is doing the most. It's like all she want to do is have a party and not be accountable for the parties that she throw. She doesn't want to go by the budget. She gets upset whenever the board try to shut her down as far as her using the credit card. And I have some questions about that too, because I understand that Mayor Henyard do a lot of unorthodox things. She have been accused, and keyword is accused because nobody has proven anything yet. And yes, Lori Lightfoot do have a report that she's going to be hopefully providing pretty soon, because she's been under investigation by Lori Lightfoot, and the FBI is investigating her too. So hopefully all of that can come into fruition, and we can find out what's really been going on behind the scenes. And so, but until then, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, to me, Mayor Henyard has been the most flamboyant mayor. And I want to show you guys. I uploaded this picture because, like I said, we're not gonna just discuss Mayor Henyard. We're gonna discuss all of them. And so she's not the only one with the shenanigans. It's more than her. That's They have these shenanigans going on. And like I said, you got Mayor Johnson, you have Mayor Henyard, and you have Mayor Cantrell. And then this is the mayor from Harvey, Illinois. Let me see. Let me make sure I got his name correctly, because I don't want to give you guys the wrong information about his name. But unfortunately, three of these mayors do come from Illinois. And so I don't know what's going on with the Chicago suburbs and their mayors, and why they're actually able to get away with the things that they're able to get away for. It looked like Chicago is just inundated with mayors that don't want to do the right thing. And the other mayor that's from Harvey, Illinois, his name is Christopher Clark. And so we have a backstory on all four of them. And so we have two women and we have two men, and all of them, of course, are our people. And to me, it's a big disappointment, because, you guys know how I feel about people in office. When you're in office, I feel like you ought to be held to a higher standard. Number one, it's very hard. You guys, excuse me for 1 second. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. But when you're in office and you're a Black person, I feel like it's already hard enough for us to get where we're trying to go, right? And so, if we're going to be in office, I think we should be held to the high. I mean, we should hold ourselves to the highest standard, and we shouldn't let anybody else define us. And it's really an honor. And you're not just representing your community, in my opinion, you're representing me also, whether I live in your area or not, because you are a person of color. And everybody know our struggle. Everybody know how hard it's been for us to make it to the top. And so I didn't pull his name, Q Law. And next time I talk about mayors, I'll make sure I go ahead and include him. And if you want to come up on a panel with me and talk about him, you're more than welcome, because I don't know anything about Mayor of Jonesboro, Georgia. But what I was saying was, whenever you go to the top, you kind of represent all of us. It's just like if Vice President Harris would have made it, we all would have been very happy and proud, and in a sense of honor, the same way we felt when Obama was in office. So I feel the same way when I see my brothers and sisters made it to the top. Then I feel a sense of honor. I really, really do, because we know how hard it is for us to go to the top. And all of these people, they're not dummies. All of them have degrees. All of them had to work very, very hard to get where they are. And it's really a shame to work this hard to get where you are, and then you get in office and just act a whole donkey's butt, if I could just say that. If I can just put it that way. So let's just go down the line, and we're gonna go ahead and get into our video. And I didn't, Mayor Johnson, I want to just talk about him because I talked about him earlier this week on our MacMan morning show. And so you guys can go and listen to the replay on that if you want to hear the information that we had about him. But so what he did was he proposed to do a $300 million tax break um, for his community. And the aldermen shot him down. There's about 50 aldermen, and he's comes, and all of these mayors too, they're all experiencing the same thing. Okay, the mayor have the aldermen and the board of trustees that they have to deal with. And so each and every last one of these mayors are having to deal with their boards and with their aldermen. So Mayor Johnson proposed last week, he proposed a $300 million tax increase to the people in Chicago. And the people in Chicago shot him down. They didn't want to have nothing. The aldermen didn't want to have anything to do with that. The residents are mad at Mayor Johnson because of the migrants. The residents feel that he's taking care of the migrants instead of taking care of Chicago. And really, in my opinion, it's not Mayor Johnson's fault that the migrants are in Chicago. Really, it's my governor, Governor Greg Abbott, and the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis. They shipped those migrants all over the United States just so that people could get a taste of what the South feel. Most of the time, the migrants are when they come across the border, they're here in Texas. Some of them go to Arizona, and some of them go to California. Well, what Greg Abbott did, and Ron DeSantis, which is Greg Abbott is the governor of Texas, and Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida. They shipped those migrants all over the United States in different areas so that Agent Orange, which would be Trump, and I call him Agent Orange. I prefer not to say his name. So they did that purposely, just so that everybody across the United States could feel to see what it feels like to have migrants overrun your cities. And they sent some to Chicago. I think Chicago was like the first place that they sent them to. And I do understand they sent them to New York also. And they shipped them to other various states just so that they can have something to run on. And so that's what the residents are upset about with Mayor Johnson. They're also upset because they're saying he's not really working for the people. He's just working for the migrants. But that was their main concern. When I did my video and I did the research, the main concern was the migrants. They feel like he's giving the migrants everything and he's not giving the residents anything. But a mayor is just like a mini president. The mayor can't do anything unless the board that he's on, unless the board that's underneath him, unless they approve whatever his proposals are, his hands are kind of stuck like the president, just like the president of the United States can't do anything without the Senate and without the Congress, which is the House and the Senate. And so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys this quick video of Mayor Johnson and his proposal for the $150 million tax break, because instead of since they shot him down with the $300 million tax break, he decided to propose one for $150 million, and we'll see how the residents feel about that. So stand by for me, guys.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is trying to bring council members back to the negotiating table after they rejected a major piece of his budget last week.
WGN political reporter Tamon Bradley is here with the latest proposal from the mayor.
Ben and Lourdes, with his original property tax plan dead, Mayor Johnson is scrambling to come up with hundreds of millions of dollars in new revenue. Today he proposed new taxes and savings and took a shot at his critics.
The headline from City Hall budget talks, Mayor Johnson now backs a $150 million property tax hike, down from his original $300 million plan.
You know, this is not the final budget. There's an ongoing level of collaboration that I'm very encouraged by.
The new proposal comes days after the council unanimously rejected Johnson's $300 million recommendation. The mayor won't reveal whether or not he has the 26 votes needed to pass the smaller increase.
We are still in the process of negotiating.
Sources say the talks have picked up, but a final deal is not close. New ideas on the table include raising the personal property lease tax on cloud computing, eliminating redundancies and efficiencies and administrative costs, and raising the tax on streaming services.
Individuals or spaces that have a greater ability to contribute to a better, stronger, safer Chicago, they have to do more.
The mayor is holding up his efforts to work with City Council on drafting the budget. He claims an unprecedented effort to reach out to every member, and he threw an elbow at alders who privately say they've been left out of the process.
This is not a one-way street, it's a two-way street, and we fully expect, all of the residents of the city of Chicago fully expect that when the mayor's office reaches out, that is an opportunity for them to engage. There are some individuals that, you know, their engagement has been slow or slower.
Mayor Johnson insists his team will listen to the council's ideas on how to generate revenue because he's not willing to lay off city workers.
Cuts to services is a non-starter for the people of Chicago. There are some individuals right now that want me to lay people off. Some individuals are having tantrums right now. It's time to grow up.
Mayor Johnson says he will fight for new progressive taxes at the state level, funds that might lessen the burden on cities. But a progressive tax measure that would have allowed Springfield to tax higher income earners more was rejected by voters in 2020, Ben and Lourdes.
Good perspective. Tamon, thank you.
Okay, we want to thank WGN News for that news clip. And so, as you can tell, you know, he was trying to explain that he's just trying to do his job, and he need 26 people. They have 50 aldermen that can vote for him or against him. So he have 50 different people that he's having to deal with and try to work deals out with. And so, you know, he's not getting any help. He can't get any assistance. They didn't agree with the $300 million tax increase that he decided to do. And so he tried to go lower and to see if he could get some assistance with trying to get something passed. Now, this mayor is young also. He's not an old guy. He was born in March of 1976, so that will make him 48 years old. And so we're not dealing with somebody that's super old or outdated. You're dealing, kind of with a pretty, I would say middle age, not quite middle age, but fairly young. Now, he did receive 52.16% of the vote. And so he did get voted in office wholeheartedly. Chicago do have 1,587,153 voters. 613,795 people showed up to vote. And Mayor Johnson received 319,481. So he was overwhelmingly well, I won't say overwhelmingly, but more than a little bit more than half of the people voted for him. And he has a master's degree in teaching. He attended college at Aurora University. In his early career, he taught social studies as a teacher at two different at an elementary school called Jenner Academy and George Westinghouse. And he also taught at a college prep public school in Chicago. He also was an organizer. He also worked with the teachers union. He assisted with organizing two of their strikes in 2012 and in 2019. And so this guy, he's a pretty prominent man. In my opinion, he's worked hard to get to where he's at. And I don't understand why the board is not working with him. See, when you're the president or you're the mayor, and the people vote you in office, you really it's the duty of the aldermen, in my opinion, and the board of trustees, depending on what type of city that you're running or that you're head of. And just like the president, his first year in office, he gets to get some of the things that he want to get. Some of his agendas should be pushed because he won the presidency. And the same thing with the mayor. They should try to approve his agenda because he's the mayor. And I'm not saying that he's doing 100% things right, and I'm not saying he's doing 100% things wrong. But what I am saying is there should be some type of compromise. And if you don't like the $300 million tax increase that that they just slammed down, okay, well, he's trying to work with them. In my opinion, if he brought it down to $150 million, that means he's trying to work with the board. And so, I raised this question: are we actually being too hard on our Black mayors? Because even though you disagree with some of their choices, are all of their choices wrong? Is everything that they're doing is wrong? Or do we just, or are people having an attitude? They're getting mad at him, or they're making this personal. And so anything that he say he want to do, are they just shutting it down and not even trying to hear him? And so I feel like that they need to try to work with this guy. How is he going to improve the community if he can't get any type of help or any type of assistance? It's really a setup for failure, in my opinion. So do they want another mayor and they just want to, make him look bad? Because politics is ugly sometimes. And in my opinion, it appears that they're playing politics with this guy because they can't really find much that he's done wrong. Now, like I said, they're not happy with the things that he have done, but I haven't saw anything that he actually did wrong other than trying to, get his agenda pushed through. And so I just feel like they ought to be a little bit more lenient with him and, give him an opportunity to show what he can do. If you're going to shut down everything, how are you supposed to move forward? And how is anything supposed to get done? And so that's my opinion on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and read some of your comments in the chat because I don't want to not include you guys. Keep in mind, though, I'm actually kind of running the whole board. And so give me 1 second here and let me put up a banner here, the fair use banner, because I don't really need to be talking without this. I do need to protect our channel. And so I'm going to go back to your comments just to see what you guys are saying and to see if you agree with what I'm saying. And hey, Alice, our moderator came into the chat. And like I said, hey, Nola, thank you for joining us tonight. So Q-Law said, it's disappointing when someone who resembles us treat us poorly as our white counterparts do. Did they send them to the state that accepted them? And they are called sanctuary cities. They'll also ship them there from Washington, D.C. Okay, so she's talking about those migrants. And so, they didn't send them to sanctuary cities. Now, Chicago, Mayor Johnson declared his state as his state. Well, he declared his city as a sanctuary city because of the new president. And, the new president said, Agent Orange said when he come to town and, get back in office. He's going to deport over 10 million people. And so California, Chicago, and some of the other states are declaring themselves as a sanctuary city, meaning they're not going to just hand these people over just because Agent Orange want them to. And he can deport people, but it's going to take work from the city. The city officials are going to have to assist him with this mass deportation plan that he has in store for everybody. And so he will need the local police and the state police to assist him. So we'll see what Governor Pritzker say about it. But Mayor Johnson has declared his city as a sanctuary city. So you're absolutely right about that. And so she said, I'm pretty sure that if the mayor of Chicago were white, those tax increases would have been approved. And you're absolutely right. And why not approve them? Last week, the board said that they wanted to do a liquor license. They wanted to tax liquor. And I can't remember because I got rid of the research that I had from when I did the show the other day. And we do a lot of shows, so please forgive me if I forget. But it was two other things that they wanted to tax instead of giving him a liquor license. But it's the same. I mean, instead of giving him a tax break. But it was the same thing. I think they wanted to cut the pension for cut the city worker pensions. So which one would you rather have a tax hike, or would you rather have your pension taxed and taken away? So I feel like a tax increase is nothing unusual. Every city have to cut taxes as the costs go up. The taxes are going to go up. So anybody that owns a home understand that most of the time, if your city doesn't have a surplus, then more than likely you're going to have to pay taxes, and your taxes are going to increase. And that's just pretty standard for any state, city. It's nothing new for Chicago. So like I said, I don't understand why they're giving him such a hard time of that. And so another one of our comments, Q-Law said that when people of color take leadership roles, we hope they advocate for us. We don't want them to step into these positions and overlook the challenge faced by their communities. Well, Q-Law, I say, how can he try to take leadership and how can he do anything if the board is not going to work with him? Because, see, in order for him to do anything, he's going to have some cooperation. And he's not getting any cooperation from the aldermen. And by the way, some of those aldermen that are in office, just like Mayor Henyard, you remember she ran on a ticket with two other trustees to get in office. Mayor Johnson helped some of those aldermen get into office. And it's like, okay, we in office, so now we don't have to agree with you, or we don't have to vote with you or be nice to you because, we don't have to go with your agenda because we have the job that we want. And that's just the way I see it. May not say that it, I'm not saying that it wholeheartedly, is going that way, but that's what it appears to me. And the last comment that I see here, it says that Trump is likely to achieve most of his goals since both the House, the Senate are controlled by Republicans unless President Obama intervenes. I don't see how President Obama can intervene. So you may want to elaborate on that, because Obama don't have anything to do with Trump, because I intended to say unlike President Obama. Oh, okay. So yeah. Well, let me correct you on that, Q-Law. President Obama did have the House and the Senate the first 2 years, but President Obama focused on Obamacare. And that was his signature piece of legislation that he really worked hard on. And he really wanted to get it, across the board. And he achieved that. But that was the main thing that he did. He mainly, that was his major piece of legislation, which was Obamacare and slash the Affordable Care Act. Because a lot of people don't know that Obamacare is the Affordable Care Act, especially a lot of our voters don't realize that. Especially our clear voters, they don't realize that, whenever Agent Orange say, I'm going to get rid of Obamacare, well, they think, Obamacare is separate from the Affordable Care Act. And basically, Obamacare really is kind of the slang name for the Affordable Care Act, because the Affordable Care Act is the name of the legislation. And they just put it Obamacare because he's the one who put the legislation out. And, that's his signature. Really, that's his legacy for his presidency. And you can rest assured Trump is going to try to, Agent Orange is going to try to get rid of that again. But I think it's going to have a hard time because he doesn't have a plan to replace it. When he went to, when he did his debate with Vice President Harris, he said he had a concept of a plan, and I don't think that's going to be well enough. You're going to have to have more than a concept in order to get rid of something. And also, the longer people use services, the less they want to get, the less likely you're going to be able to get with it. Because I'm pretty sure when Medicare first came on the scene from LBJ, I don't think LBJ introduced it. I have to see which one of them. I don't want to give you, I think it was Eisenhower introduced Medicare. And so I'm pretty sure, it's just like anything else. Whenever new legislation is put out, a lot of people, it takes people time to figure out what it's all about and if they're going to go on board with it or whether or not they agree with it. And so Medicare has been around for a long time. And so they're talking about trying to cut that as well. I just don't think the people are going to go for it, especially not his voters, because a lot of his voters are on Medicare. And so, so Obama did have the presidency. It's just that most of the time, the incumbent president, they normally lose the House and the Senate. And so that's why I'm not so upset about Agent Orange being in office, because I am very optimistic. Whenever people get through seeing, whenever people see what he does when he get in office, I feel like he's gonna, just steamroll through all his legislation, and it's all gonna be so crazy. And he's talking about dismantling all of our government services that we have. He's talking about getting rid of education and housing and so on and so forth. People are used to getting Pell Grants. People are used to their kids going to Head Start. So what you can't do with America is you can't introduce America to something, get us used to it, just like Roe v. Wade, and then try to take it back as if you're taking your marbles back and expect everybody to be on board with it. So I think he's going to have some backlash. And I really feel like, yes, he have the House and the Senate right now, but in 2 years, I believe he's going to lose both of them once everybody really find out what the Wizard of Oz have in store for him. That's the best way I can describe it. And so Alice said, sometimes we are too hard on Black leaders, but many times it's well deserved. And you're absolutely right about that, because our girl Tiff, she do a lot of showing out, and she do a lot of putting it in our face of what her intentions are, what she's gotten away with, and she's very flamboyant. She's not shy about it at all. And so Q-Law said, when we choose individuals for public office, our expectations for them increase. We anticipate that they will act ethically and ensure equitable treatment for all residents. And so I can agree with that. And we do expect that. But once again, a lot of times we get stifled because of the position that we're in. And anytime you're a mayor, you have to work with other people, or else your agenda is just not going to get passed. You're not going to be able to get anything done. And a lot of times I think they do that, especially if they don't like you, so they can get you out of office. And so Alice said, too many people voted against their own interests in 2024. And you're absolutely right about that. And unfortunately, there may be many who voted for Kamala Harris who may be casualties of war. I believe it's more people. I think it's less people voted for Kamala than what they were saying. I think the white women fooled us. I think they played like that. They were upset about Roe v. Wade and that they were going to vote with us. But when push came to shove, and when they went in their voting booth, nobody can see your vote. So when it was time to put your money where your mouth is, well, they showed us where their money was. And I think they, like you said, I think they voted against their own interests. and just made us feel like that they were on our side. And they may felt like that in their heart, but some people just can't pull that lever for the opposite side, because if the shoe was on the other foot, I don't know if I can pull the lever for a Republican. I just don't know if I could do that or not. And so we've been talking about Miss Henyard, and so let's go ahead and she's next on the list, and let's go ahead and see what she's been doing this week.
Tonight in South Suburban Thornton Township, another challenge to Supervisor Tiffany Henyard.
And WGN's Jenna Barnes has details on a boycott by trustees to halt Henyard's agenda.
Well, the power struggle here in Thornton Township has reached the point where trustees prevented Supervisor Tiffany Henyard from getting what she wants by strategically staying home.
If you want the tea, get it from me.
Supervisor Tiffany Henyard planned to appoint a new trustee in Thornton Township during its regularly scheduled meeting, the vacancy created by another trustee's resignation. Henyard says the appointment would have created what she calls balance on the board. But two other trustees blocked it from happening by not showing up to the meeting.
We feel that it's necessary to have that go to the people. Let the people choose.
It's not to harm, to hurt, to stop, but to ensure that the right things are being done for the residents of Thornton Township.
With Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle absent, there was no quorum. The meeting and the appointment couldn't happen. This wasn't the first time they've skipped meetings. Henyard accuses them of causing gridlock in a township where she touts surpluses in the budget.
If the board do not show up, we are not able to pay bills. We are not able to handle the business.
Henyard's monologue continued after the meeting on Facebook Live.
And remember, I always said this: stop lying on me before I stop telling the truth on you. If they don't know, Trustee Carlisle was appointed to her seat as trustee.
On that same live stream, Henyard announced she plans to win re-election in Thornton Township and in Dalton, where she's mayor, by a landslide. She hasn't filed for the race in Thornton Township, but she already faces a challenge from Harvey Mayor Christopher Clark. In Dalton, trustee Jason House is looking to unseat her. At the last meeting in Dalton, trustees voted to return 3 luxury SUVs leased for Henyard. We now know 2 of them have been returned. The 3rd remains in use by Henyard.
And I'm going to be expecting an apology later on, because I will be suing a lot of individuals for defaming my name.
Henyard at the end there taking a swing at the press and her doubters. She did announce that she's planning to find a way to refund about $2 million in property taxes to homeowners. That's an initiative that hasn't been taken up by the board in recent meetings because of these absences. In South Holland, Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Okay, we would like to thank WGN News for that news clip. And so y'all heard what she said. She said she's gonna sue some people. And look who's gonna challenge her. Look who's challenging her. Do y'all recognize that face? It's the Harvey mayor, the one that we're gonna talk about. He's going to challenge Tiffany. So you're going to leave one place where people are not happy about you. And I got some information about him also. So I'm going to let you get to see what he's doing in his area, because he's in the Chicago. He's in the Chicago suburbs also. And so, well, not this mayor. I'm sorry. Not this mayor. But the mayor from Harvey's said that he want to challenge her. And yeah, we know Tiffany, do her thing. And we know how flamboyant she is. And we know she also have a big mouth, okay? And so she loves to run her mouth. She like to, show off and, pop her collar. And, it appears anytime she have any issues with the town, if she can't do the board meetings, then she likes to go to Facebook Live. And I actually was on that live the other night. I think that was Tuesday night. I was on that live when she was on there complaining. And hey, Lady T-Bud, welcome to the Mac Man After Dark show. And thank you for coming in. And like I said, any of you guys can join me on the panel here, because you see I'm doing this by myself. And I'm not struggling. And I'm not saying I can't do it, but it would be nice, if anybody want to join me on the panel, let's talk about this, because it's more interesting when when more than one person talk about it. But as I was stating, we've seen Tiffany in action. We know that she's under investigation, like I said, by the FBI. We also know that Lori Lightfoot is doing an audit for the village of Dalton. And we also is aware that she's the supervisor for Thornton Township. And as the news stated, she's already put her application in to run, she's going to go for re-election for the village of Dalton. But she haven't put her paperwork in for re-election for the supervisor of Thornton. And I believe she have probably maybe a couple weeks before she have to do that before the deadline. I think the deadline is in like the first or second week of December. So she have a couple weeks to go to see if she's going to try to be the supervisor again. So what's going on with that, with her situation? One of the Thornton Township Board of Trustees got sick. And so she's trying to replace him. Well, Gonzalez and Carmen didn't show up to the meeting this past Tuesday, so that she wouldn't have any quorum, so that she can't appoint anybody. And I understand they're doing what they have to do, but at the end of the day, she is the supervisor. She do have a responsibility to appoint somebody to that position. And to me, it reminds me of Mitch McConnell when he prevented Obama from installing a Supreme Court justice. And that's what, elections have consequences. And I understand that she ran on one thing and she's doing something different, but, she has that right to do that. And why are they taking that from her? And on the morning show, we've had a couple of guests come on, and I raised the question. Well, if she was appointed to the board and the board went in the back room and let her be in office, why can't she appoint her own person? And I was given the answer that she appointed Carmen. And so what's wrong with Carmen? Yeah, Carmen was with her, but then Carmen turned against her. So what make you feel like, what's the difference in the people electing somebody? And if the people elect somebody, they could be a rubber stamp for Tiffany. It's no guarantee that if the people elect someone, it's no guarantee that they're not going to be on Tiffany's side. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that she's doing totally right or totally wrong. But what I am saying is, are we being too hard on our Black mayors? Why aren't we giving them a chance to do their job? See, we want to sit around and we want to criticize everybody, right? Including myself. I'm guilty of it too, because you guys know I be on other panels and even on this panel, on the morning show. You guys know I've roasted her. So, I don't have a dog in the fight. I really don't. All I can do is look at the facts and look at the circumstances and look and see how people are acting. And so, in my opinion, yeah, you can take the credit card from her, but why are you trying to take all of her responsibilities away from her? If she won won the race to be the supervisor of Thornton Township, I feel like, and this is just I said feelings, I feel like she should have the opportunity to appoint somebody, because that's what it's all about. The politics. You didn't confer with the people when you put her in office. And I know that vote didn't turn out the way you thought it was going to turn, but why take her job from her? And like I said, even if you vote somebody from the outside community per se, or the people that you're vetting, because to me, all of y'all are playing politics, in my opinion. The Board of Trustees is playing politics in Dalton, and the Thornton Township Board of Trustees are playing politics. It is election season. Some of those people's seats are up, and some of them do have to run again. So in my opinion, I feel like they all playing politics. And yeah, she's trying to get reelected as well as they are. So they're doing a tick for tack. And that's just my opinion on it. I feel like if she won the position, she should be able to, appoint whoever she wanted to appoint. And like I said, there's no guarantee that you guys are going to get that great trustee that you feel like you feel like if you handpicked them, because you handpicked her. that she was handpicked and see how she turned out. Okay. And so just because you guys want to handpick somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the outcome that you want. Okay. You guys stand by 1 second. I have a guest online. And so give me one moment and let me just verify her. Hold on 1 second. Let me add her to the stage. Hi, Q-Law. Thank you for coming up. Let me put our banner back up so that nobody can see you. Give me 1 second here, because I don't want you to have to be online like that. I know I don't like being online. I like the anonymity, so I'm sure you do too. Okay, it's still not showing. It's still showing you. Turn your camera off. Do you want to turn off your camera? There you go. There you go. Okay, and so welcome to the stage, Q-Law. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. And thank you for joining me, because like I said, it's more interesting when I have someone to talk to and, to discuss these things with. But what are your thoughts about so far about the Mayor Johnson and about Tiffany? Because we're not going to just harp on one thing that they're doing. I'm just doing an overall synopsis of are we too hard on our Black mayors?
So I'm not really familiar with the mayor of Chicago. I have been looking at a couple of videos about what's going on there, but I'm not really sure. But it looks like to me that the majority of the residents don't like him because of the immigrant situation and them taking over the city and everything. But as far as him, I'm not really, sure why. But, like I was saying before, we should hold them at a higher standard, because they're our people and they know our struggles. So we put them in those offices so that they can help their people. And if we put you there and you're not doing what we expect you to do, then that's when we're really gonna, go back and forth like we've been doing in Harvey and Dalton and Chicago, the way, our people have been standing up and, voicing their opinion about, what's been going on. But we should. For far too long, we have been marginalized, right? And now we have an opportunity to have one of our people in office, and they should be working for us and not against us. And with the case with Tiffany, they have to pull in the reins, because we know that in Dalton, they're in a deficit. And I'm pretty sure the two trustees and Thornton, they're probably like, we don't want to get like Dalton. We want to make sure that we have these internal controls in place so that she doesn't get wild and start spending money. And, she keeps saying there's a surplus, but every time there's a meeting, the amount changes. Like, Tiffany, what's the surplus? Because every time you come to the meeting, you always change that number. So to me, she doesn't know what it is. And Tiffany, she just spends. And those two trustees is like, they're like, okay, that's enough is enough. We got to rein her in.
Okay, so I respect your opinion. However, if she appoints someone else, that's not having access to the credit card per se. It still has to be voted on, but that's not access to the credit card. So why can't she put her own person in office? She won the election.
Well, you're right. So if she appoints that person, obviously it's going to be somebody that's going to be on her side, and whatever she wants to get done.
Hold on 1 second. Carmen was on her side, but she not now. So that's all I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to make that correlation. It's not a guarantee that just because she appoints someone that person is going to vote with her and be on her side. That's all I'm trying to get across to people.
Well, I agree, but I agree and I disagree, because I feel like whoever Tiffany appoints is going to be somebody who is going to be on her side, because she don't want any more snakes. She don't want anybody else coming after her or biting her in the ass like they did. with Carmen. Carmen realized what she was doing was wrong. And the good thing about Carmen, she actually apologized to people. She's, she told the residents, look, I apologize for what I did. I realized that what I did was wrong. So now it's time for me to right my wrongs. So, but I believe whoever Tiffany selects, I don't think that person's gonna flip. I think they're gonna go along with Tiffany until she either is out of that position or if she continues to stay in that position.
Well, personally, I don't see anything wrong with her appointing somebody because at the end of the day, the election is coming back up in February. So why not appoint somebody for 2 or 3 months just so you can have a quorum and so that you can have these meetings? Because what are they going to do? Okay, so Gonzalez and Carmen didn't make it to the meeting, right? So what are they going to do? Are they going to skip the meetings all the way up until February? I mean, how's this going to work out? Because if you do that, nothing is definitely going to get done because you can't even have a meeting.
What I believe is that she's going to take them to court and the judge is probably going to say, look, these trustees, this is what you guys were elected to do and you need to do your job. And I think the judge is going to order those 2 trustees to go back and go to those meetings and do what they're supposed to do. That's what I think, because I think Tiffany has until maybe the first week in December to appoint. And if she doesn't, then it goes to the residents. And Tiffany knows once it goes to the residents, she's not going to have that control. And Tiffany wants that control because she wants to be able to refund the residents of Thornton money. She want to be able to refund them money so that she can get their votes. She paying for votes at this point. And that's what
politicians do, Q-Law. All politicians pay for votes.
I believe
we don't get to see that. And I'm not trying to be on her side. I'm just trying to be fair and balanced.
No, I understand.
Yeah. And so I have to look at it for both ways.
Right.
Because if you'll look at it, the Clear people, they put new stores in their neighborhoods, right? They put in new whatever the Clear people want, they get, because they, in turn, they're going to vote for their person in office. And that's how we get stuck with these politicians. A person like Mitch McConnell, who's been in the Congress, and who's been the Senate majority leader for at least 20 years and been in the Congress for at least 50 to 60 years. And so no other job in America, you can stay on your job that long and still be in high position. And, he freezing all up on TV and, they wanted to talk about how Biden was so old. Well, hell, half of the Congress is old.
You're right.
So he's not an exception to the rule.
Right.
Most of them in Congress need to leave and pass the mantle on, but they're not doing that. But and look at the damage that Mitch McConnell caused. Mitch McConnell has caused this country a lot of heartache and headache, and nobody is doing anything about it. But because he give his constituents what they want, he get to remain in office, him and everybody else. Ted Cruz is another one. He's from Texas. He left us when we were in the midst of a snowstorm. He went to Cancun.
Right. With his family. Exactly.
With his family. That's right. But guess what? Because he put new shopping centers, new stores, new business came to Texas. So guess what? He get to go back up to the Senate and keep his nice cushy job and do nothing. And that's all I'm saying. When you're in office, Q-Law, it's about serving the people, but it's also about politics. And everybody is politicking, in my opinion. Everybody politicking right now.
Yeah, and it goes along with the territory. I agree with that because one hand washes the other. But in while you're doing that, make sure that you're treating your constituents fair and doing what you say you were going to do when you get into that office.
Well, that's what she's doing though. She's having parties. She's promising bingo. She's giving out prizes. She's giving out gas cards. She's giving out turkey giveaways. She's giving away, meat trucks of meat. She's doing entertainment. She's, she's doing a variety of things that she may have promised the people. She's cut their taxes. Remember, some people getting their yard cut for free. So she's making good on her promises. And I just don't think, don't get me wrong. She got a hand in the cookie jar. Okay. I know she does.
But we don't know how far in the jar.
But we don't know how many cookies she got. See, we don't know how many cookies she done kept for herself. But she's also passing out cookies to everybody else too. Because in
And
my
all
opinion,
those-
she's keeping her campaign promises.
But the problem with that is all those things that she's doing is causing Dalton to be in a deficit. They don't have no money. Put
But
it
they
plain
didn't
and
have any
simple.
before she got in office, though. That's what everybody not discussing. She's not
Well,
the first
back
mayor
in,
to do this.
well, yeah, but back during COVID, she did. They were in the black during COVID when the federal
Because of
government
COVID,
was,
though. But
but yeah,
because of
because of
COVID, because
COVID,
remember, hold on a sec. They were in the red. And COVID came out and dispersed those
yeah,
funds to different
yeah,
cities. And that's what put them in the black. So
yeah.
had not COVID happened, they still would have been in the same position that they are in now. You understand what I'm saying?
But I think the problem with Dalton is this thing occurred long before the current, administration. It happened way before Riley Rogers, or Roger Riley, whatever his name is.
Riley.
Riley, right.
Mhm.
So it was before him. And when he took
Mhm.
office, he tried to keep everything afloat until at one point he's like, okay, he had to call a special meeting and he had to say, look, I thought I could do this, but we can no longer continue on this ship that we're on. They owe the city of Chicago money that they failed to pay them for the water bill. They were back. They owed them money, and then other stuff came up. So it started way before this. So it's a snowball effect. The issue should have been addressed way before Riley, but it wasn't. And that's when the white people were in office.
There you go. And did we display them? Did we showcase them like we're showcasing black people?
Yeah, but probably you're right. No, we don't. But probably during that time. But think about it though. During that time, it was probably a majority of a white village.
Regardless, I don't care. I'm not trying to be smart with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking. So we're just talking, right? But
Right.
I don't care about that. I don't care about what color. I don't care about what the majority of the village was. What I'm saying is, see, my whole point is we're holding, in my opinion, we're holding our black mayors to a higher standard, as you put it, because they made it to the top. So we expect more out of them. But in my opinion, I feel like we're holding them to a higher standard than we are our white counterparts.
That's true, because white people, they've always, what they do for us, just hold us down. When we get someone a color in positions like that, we're like, yes, about time. Then now that person can go in and help us.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that person being in office, we didn't get the help. They didn't see us.
Yeah.
We were marginalized. They helped the majority. They're not helping the minority. Now that we have somebody of color in office, oh, now she can help me. Okay, he can help us. Yeah, and we should. I'm sorry, we should hold a higher standard. Yes, that's me.
But see, we did Obama the same way. We expected Obama to give us reparations. Everybody wanted him, and this is just a joke. I guess everybody wanted a Cadillac or something. I don't know. And that's just a lighthearted joke. But we expected too much out of Obama, and we got to understand politics.
That was a little different.
Yeah. Yes, he had the House and he had the Senate, but the last president bankrupted the country.
Yeah,
they had to pay over $700 billion to rescue the country so that we wouldn't fall into a Great Depression. And keep in mind, black people didn't really get that money. Who got that money? The white people did. I'm sorry, but they did. They're the ones was the biggest benefactors of that money. I was just on another panel a while ago, and they were talking about PPP loans and how they were cracking down on it, and it kind of made me mad. Because yes, a lot of black people did scam the government with the PPP loans, and yes, we did get unemployment that wasn't warranted.
And they should.
But
there
was crumbs to what the clear people got.
Exactly.
It was crumbs. I don't care if they got $100,000. That was crumbs to what the rich people had. And in my opinion, C-19 was the biggest scam America has ever experienced. And Agent Orange was in trouble, and I mean in the office, and I feel like he took advantage of the situation to rip the American people off so that him and his friends could get rich. And that's just how I feel about it. I could be totally wrong, but that's the way I see that. And so we don't want to stay on Tiffany all night because she's not, she's not the only one. Like I said, she's not the only one with her shenanigans. We have other mayors with their shenanigans also. So let's talk about Mayor Cantrell. Now, she's in Louisiana, and Mayor Cantrell's husband passed away about a year ago. Well, it's probably been 2 years at this point. And so she's been the mayor of Louisiana for 8 years. And baby, I think this is Tiffany's, ain't it? Stand by one moment, and we'll watch Miss Cantrell in action.
Cantrell lays out a city budget that's more than $120 million less than this year's.
As Rob Masson reports, she also mentioned 2 recent federal indictments that make reference to her.
For the first time since 2 federal indictments mentioned her as public official number 1, Mayor Cantrell made reference as she presented her final full year's budget to the city council.
How I came in seems to be how I'm going out. Accusation after accusation after accusation, but also a track record of delivering results.
But a political analyst says that allegations of misspending her council budget account 8 years ago pale in comparison to other potential charges laid out in the indictments of her former bodyguard, Jeffrey Vappy, and former City Hall contractor, Randy Farrell.
I think she's trying to downplay the current accusations. Because remember, the accusations when she came in were primarily about, misspending and credit card issues.
Cantrell touted achievements over the past year, including a major reduction in crime, as she laid out a budget that will require $124 million in cuts.
From violent crime leading to now leading in reduction of violent crime.
Cantrell left CAO Gilbert Montano to lay out the details of the 2025 budget 3 days after he was listed as public official 2 in the indictment of contractor Randy Farrell. Farrell is accused of paying bribes to get a city inspector, who was allegedly onto a scheme to defraud the city, removed.
The people that know me know my integrity. I'm here to deliver the budget.
The budget outlines cuts necessitated by a reduction in federal recovery dollars and a reallocation of red light camera fines.
That represents about a 5 to 7% across the board cut for other operating. And as far as the personnel side, those are certain aspects of vacancies.
The big question now is whether or not this revenue shortfall can be handled without big layoffs, and at least one city council members believe it can.
I don't think that there's going to be a need to be layoffs. There is room within the budget to make cuts in certain areas.
With federal investigations ongoing and the mayor entering her final year, some say the council will have more say over the city's budget than in years past.
And it's primarily going to be the members of the city council that are going to be driving any major budget decision.
Neither Cantrell nor Montano have been charged with any crime. City budget hearings will begin 1 week from today, with a final vote set for November 21st.
Okay, we'd like to thank Fox News 8 for that nice clip. And so that's in a couple of days. They're going to go ahead and vote on this. But does it look familiar to you, Q-Law? Do anything look familiar about this video to you?
It's slightly familiar. At least she's a little bit more poised and articulate. Let me put it that way.
You call that being poised?
Yes. I mean, to me, when she spoke, people listened because she was articulate,
Yeah.
With
yeah.
Tiffany, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Not so
But
much.
Alice say she got some hood in her. From
that came out too.
Our moderator, Alice. Alice is our moderator for the morning. And thank you, Alice, for moderating for me tonight. I sure appreciate you coming in to help work the show. But Alice says she feel like she got some hood in her because the way she was doing all that. in the beginning of that video, it kind of looked like it reminded me of Tiffany.
A little, but again, she's a little bit more articulate.
Well, she could be articulate all she wants, but she on the FBI investigation also. Did you hear that part?
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
Oh, do we need to watch the video again? I don't think you really understand. I don't think you must have got a phone call or something. Let's watch her one more time. I want you to really see
okay.
It's a lot of similarities. It's only 2 minutes, so we got time.
Okay.
I'm gonna play it
Cantrell lays out
again
a
so
city
the
budget
people.
that's more than $120 million less than this year's.
As Rob Masson reports, she also mentioned 2 recent federal indictments that make reference to her.
For the first time since 2 federal indictments mentioned her as public official number 1, Mayor Cantrell made reference as she presented her final full year's budget to the city council.
How I came in seems to be how I'm going out. Accusation after accusation after accusation, but also a track record of delivering results.
But a political analyst says that allegations of misspending her council budget account 8 years ago pale in comparison to other potential charges laid out in the indictments of her former bodyguard, Jeffrey Vappy, and former City Hall contractor, Randy Farrell.
I think she's trying to downplay the current accusations. Because remember, the accusations when she came in were primarily about, misspending and credit card issues.
Cantrell touted achievements over the past year, including a major reduction in crime, as she laid out a budget that will require $124 million in cuts.
From violent crime leading to now leading in reduction of violent crime.
Cantrell left CAO Gilbert Montano to lay out the details of the 2025 budget 3 days after he was listed as public official 2 in the indictment of contractor Randy Farrell. Farrell is accused of paying bribes to get a city inspector, who was allegedly onto a scheme to defraud the city, removed.
The people that know me know my integrity. I'm here to deliver the budget.
The budget outlines cuts necessitated by a reduction in federal recovery dollars and a reallocation of red light camera fines.
That represents about a 5 to 7% across the board cut for other operating. And as far as the personnel side, those are certain aspects of vacancies.
The big question now is whether or not this revenue shortfall can be handled without big layoffs, and at least one city council members believe.
Okay, Q-Law. So you heard that right. So you don't see any similarities?
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Okay. Is she all poised like you think she is?
Well, yeah.
And they caught her with her boyfriend who was drinking on the job. Her boyfriend, I think I have another video of her. Where her and her boyfriend, because her husband, like I said, her husband did pass away, and her boyfriend, I think he worked for the police department, and they had a picture of them eating dinner together, and they just really kind of like, you see one thing about the public. Once you get in the eye of the public, baby, let me tell you, you can't even spit the wrong way on the sidewalk without, because like you said, like Tupac, all eyes on me. And that's how it goes. Because once you show them who you are, or once people find out one little thing about you, and they don't forget. But like she said, she's been delivering, but the FBI investigations say different.
But it's terrible though, because they're human too, and they want to go out in public, and they want to go to restaurants, and they want to do this and do that. So I mean, it's unfair, when it comes to that.
It is unfair, and so that's all. That's the whole gist of this live tonight. I want to know: do we expect too much from our Black mayors? I can't ask this question too many times, because I say yes. Now, I'm not saying that these people are not in the wrong on some of the things that they're doing, but I also say, can y'all cut them a little break? Can you cut them some slack? Can you at least let them try to do their job? And, just like Cantrell and Henyard, if they doing something wrong, let them hang themselves. I still haven't seen anything that Mayor Johnson has done to warrant all this backlash that they have against him. I looked for story after story after story, couldn't find anything. The only thing that the residents was roasting him for is the migrants. And the migrants, in my opinion, okay, he didn't bring the migrants there, but also he's a Democrat, and most Democrats are not going to let people, if you're a Democratic mayor, just like in California, Gavin Newsom, they're not going to let these people just be out in the cold. And, you know, because the whole thing about it, to me, you're going to exacerbate the problem. If you got a group of people come to your town, and we experienced that in Texas when Katrina happened, right? Remember how those people was on top of the roofs, and George Bush just kind of left them there because it was black people. And he take 2 or 3 days to go and rescue those people, and most of them lost everything. And when I say everything, they lost everything. And those people, they had to they relocated those people to Houston. And we had them, they had them in the Houston Dome. And those people were sleeping on cots. And
so how did you guys feel about that when they came? And
we felt sorry for them, but we was just like the rest of America. We didn't want them in our neighborhoods because they was walking around the neighborhoods, lurking and stealing and robbing, and you know, they was doing the most. But they were like in kind of like of a no man land. And even you know, I'm probably about 7 or 8 hours away from Houston. And some of them even came to the panhandle where I'm located. And so they were walking around our city too. You know, I wasn't here when that happened because I was in Dallas at that time. But, you know, we had them everywhere. I was even in college at that time, and I went to school with some of them. And so, but those people were distraught. They were displaced. They didn't have a place to go. And the government kind of forgot about them. So it was up to the city of Dallas, Houston, and in the panhandle, every city that they went to, it really was incumbent upon those cities to take care of those people. Keep in mind, the federal government sent funds to take care of them, and we gladly accepted those funds. But when it was time to help the people, they didn't want to do that. But a lot of them did. They went back home after the cleanup and after the storm. After probably about 6 months to a year, they started migrating back home. Some of them actually stayed. But a lot of them went back home, and they had to go back and rebuild. And you know how?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I mean, they are Americans, unlike the people that are in Chicago. They're immigrants, and I guess a lot of the residents of Chicago feel like the migrants are getting the help, and the people that are from Chicago are not getting the help. But I'm pretty sure, you know, the help that the migrants are getting it was budgeted for. There are funds that are set aside for situations like this.
Well, the federal government sent them money is what happens.
Right.
Just like the migrants have always gotten, and see, that's the thing that people don't know. Texas, we're used to that. The migrants have always gotten help. They've always crossed the border. It's always been a Texas thing. It's always been an Arizona thing, and a California thing, in Florida. It's always been in the South. And so like I said in the beginning of the live, they sent these people around the United States so that they can win the election and so that it can piss everybody off. And that's exactly what it did. So they served their goal.
Yeah,
they served their purpose.
Right. But, you know, getting back to your question, like I said before, I do believe that we hold them to a higher standard, right? Especially when it comes to helping your people. Yeah, I'm going to hold you to a higher standard because we put you in there and we want you to help our people. But on the other hand, I want you to do the same thing they're doing. So whatever they're doing, I don't mind you doing it as long as you don't get caught. As long as you don't get caught doing what our white counterparts are doing, then I'm fine with it. But in the meantime, I want you to help our people. Because
that's
what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
And that's the difference. See, the clear people, what they do is they stick their hand in the cookie jar too, but they make sure they help their people first, and then they take what's left over.
Exactly.
And that's where we're making our mistake. And I don't know if we don't know how to do it. We don't have enough experience in it because, in my opinion, Miss Henyard is not doing anything no different than what Raleigh was doing, because I heard Raleigh was a crook too, allegedly.
But Raleigh wasn't investigated under FBI investigation, was he?
Yes. Yeah.
He was?
No, I don't think he's under investigation because he knew how to be a crook. So it's, I keep going back to the panel that I wasn't on the panel, but the chat that I just left. See, it's one thing about being a crook. You got to learn how to do it if you're going to be one.
Exactly. That's it.
You know,
and like you said, we haven't been in office long enough for us to figure out how to do that and get away with it. And like, we have
to learn how to perfect that.
Yes, because they've done it for so long. And now that we get into office, we get caught quick, because we don't know how to, bob and weave. We don't know how to do it.
Not yet, we don't, but we learning though. Trust me when I tell you that. And you guys, hold on 1 second. I forgot to take a station ID break. So give me 1 second. We're not on the radio, but we still like to take a break and just, give out, just some advertisement for our channel. Because like I said, we are trying to grow our channel. So follow us on TikTok and follow us on YouTube. And you can go to WKRA 92.7 to follow us on Facebook. So stand by one moment and we'll be right back with you because we're going to discuss this last mayor here.
Ain't nothing wrong with getting your bunny on with Mac Man Morning Show very own Mr. Lee.
Well, when I was a kid, Mama looked at you before you got in the stove. She looked, I don't want to. You don't put your hands on. You don't ask for shit. We ain't eating. We wait till we get home. But kids now, it's like, you know what you do? He got a note saying that he's allergic to peanut butter, he's allergic to jelly, he's allergic to bread, he got gluten-free, he can't eat this, he can't eat that, and then he got a note saying he got DDT, ADT, or women, or whatever. He can stand on tables, he can do whatever he want to do. What kind of is that?
Tune in to the Mac Man Morning Show. Hold up. Man, this is one of the hottest talk radio shows this side of the Mississippi. We're talking about the Mac Man Morning Show, Mondays through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10:20 a.m. Man, get you some on WKRA 92.7 FM. Man, beat me there. Don't meet me there.
If your locks ain't right and your twist is on limp, you know, get over to Keisha Studio. Specialized in locks, natural hair, and extensions. When your hair needs that special attention, make Keisha Studios your next decision. Located 3964 Goodman Road E, Suite 122 in South Haven, Mississippi. Call 901-650-9487 for your appointment at Keisha Studios. You know.
And we're back with you. And I just want to say you're listening to the Mac Man After Dark show. And pretty soon, our executive producer is going to get us, he's going to get us a logo for the night. Well, we have our logo already, but he's going to do a promo for us so that we can have our own music and we won't have to advertise the morning commercials. But they'll do for right now. And I love that song. Every time I hear that song, I just want to dance. I really want to go to the cafe and cut a step or two. But back to our conversation. That's enough about me in those promos. Oh, yeah. And I just also want to say, join us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10:20 for the Mac Man Morning Show with James Mack, which is our host. And we had some interesting conversations in the morning. Also, today we talked about they had some marches this weekend in Columbus, Ohio, the Nazis. And so if you didn't catch our show this morning, go back and listen to our replay because it was a great show this morning. I got a lot of feedback from everybody enjoying the show. But, it was something to watch. Not only did we have some Nazis that marched, but we did have some Black men from Columbus, some Black leaders that counteracted that. So, we're just saying we're not going to take that. So we got to get ready for Agent Orange. But it appears that, some of our leaders, some of our community leaders are getting ready and they know exactly what they have to do. And I know a lot of people don't really want us to discuss what he's going to do because we really don't want to give him that much. We don't want to give him that much play, but we have to keep an eye on what he's doing so that America can be informed because we're a news station of information and inspiration. And so we want to inspire everybody to go to the polls in 2 years. And we also want to bring you accurate facts of what's going on in America, because a lot of people don't really realize what the smoke screens and mirrors are. And so that's when we come into play. We're going to make sure we call him out on everything that he does, and we're going to keep you guys informed of what's going on. But getting back to our subject. So we have this one last mayor that I want to discuss tonight. And Kula, once again, thank you for coming on the panel and discussing this with me, because like I said, it makes it a lot more interesting when you have somebody that's conversing with you.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it makes it way more interesting. And so first, girl, let me put my glasses on so I can find these videos.
This is the mayor of Harvey, right?
Yeah. This is going to be the mayor of Harvey. And that's not his name, though. So give me 1 second and we'll pull it up here. Let's see.
Tonight, another South suburban town faces controversy. Just like we've seen in Dalton, it involves the community protesting against their mayor. Our Nate Rogers picks up the story from here in Harvey.
There are many issues here in Harvey that residents have brought to our attention. Residents marched from a nearby church right here to the municipal center before tonight's meeting. Several police officers were on hand, some residents calling that an intimidation tactic.
We're just seeking the transparency, participatory governance. We have several questions about the bills list, and if we know what's going on in adjacent communities, we certainly don't want to model those types of things. Stop holding the license! Leave the churches alone!
Tension in suburban Harvey continues to grow. Residents taking their fight to the street in a peaceful protest.
Where are the licenses?
Finally, outside Harvey's municipal center, residents holding signs. One of them saying, quote, Mayor Clark is worse than Tiffany Henyard. Another one, quote, stop harassing vendors. Business owners saying their licenses are being held up. Residents complaining of a 3% water hike. Pastors outraged after Harvey churches are now required to obtain a business license or their doors threaten to be closed. At least 2 city council members and a packed room of concerned residents are calling for transparency on how village dollars are being spent. The mayor's critics are also asking that his administration be investigated along with his business dealings.
It's unacceptable. You have been elected to serve. You should serve with integrity, not pushing the agenda of the mayor, not pushing the agenda of what he has asked you to do in his office, but I'm expecting people to do what they have been elected to do. And when you get aside from that, then you need to be removed.
What? Why are you intimidating somebody with a business? How can this happen when we got more policemen here than I've ever seen in a year? Who's paying for all of this? Who's paying for all of this stuff
stuff and got going.
When it comes to the money, we just ask for transparency. You're an attorney, you know better.
Now, city council members tell us more than 70 businesses and over 100 churches are impacted by Mayor Chris Clark's latest mandates. We asked to speak to Mayor Clark. I even gave my business card to his chief of staff. We were told no, that he is not available. As always, here in Harvey, Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.
What in the world is going on?
Well, we'd like to thank Fox 32 Chicago for that news clip. It sounds like they all meeting up with each other to me, including Cantrell, and she all the way in Louisiana. So do these
what do you think? What do you think is going on? I'm sorry.
I have no clue, Q-Log. You just like me, you're excited. And because at the end of the day, you see the similarities. And it's like everybody using the same playbook. Everybody got the same problems, and all the residents have the same complaints. And so it's not funny, but the similarities are just astounding. The same thing. She wasn't giving out business licenses. Wow. He's imposing a business. He's making people at the church get a business license.
Church. I thought there was a separation of church and state, church and city.
Well, hold up, because in Texas, guess what? In the good old state, we're putting taxes on churches. So what's the difference? Either you're gonna get a tax imposed on you, or either you're gonna have a business license. Because let me tell you something about the church, and I'm not against church people. I promise you, I'm not. But these churches, are getting away with everything. Look at Joel Osteen. Look at T.D. Jakes. Look at Jesse Duplantis. Look at some of these mega churches. Joel Osteen. Look at these mega churches. They're getting away. I mean, it's like highway robbery. And so what do? Do you just let them, make all the money they want to make tax-free? Because church used to be tax-free. But now it looked like these states are doing something different. It's like they're trying to hold these church people accountable, and rightly so. Some of these church they make millions.
Mm-hmm.
And and then just poor old us, most Black people make anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 per year, and we got to pay at least 12 to 15% tax. And while these churches are making millions upon millions, and they pay no tax, make sense.
So do you think these mayors in Illinois, they're getting together and talking about what's going on and how they should how they should run their cities or villages? Because I swear it looks like you said, they all are using the same playbook.
You think they all on a messenger group chat or WhatsApp group chat?
After watching this, yes.
Discussing how they're going to defraud their constituents.
But you left out one.
Who?
The Salk Village.
Yes, I was gonna include him too, because I saw him the other night too, but I couldn't think of the name of the city, so I couldn't find him again. Because when you're researching things, those other mayors will come up, and I just couldn't remember. Yes. I was trying to find him, but yeah, he's another one.
They're all in Illinois.
And they all just sit there and let these people talk about them. And in my opinion, Mayor Johnson is really probably the only one that's kind of legitimate that really they shouldn't have a complaint about, because his problem is not, he's qualified. He has degrees. He has a master's degree. He's a community organizer. He's worked in his community more than anybody, in my opinion.
However, this guy's an attorney, so
this guy's an attorney too. So, but this is what I think, Q-Law. I think that this has been going on, and what the deal is that our Black mayors are playing. They're using their white counterparts' playbook. Is what I basically feel like is going on. And you know how amateurs are. You could try to mimic somebody all you want, but you got to put your own flair on it, and sometimes you can't do it right.
That's true. That's true.
I just think they don't know how to be very good crooks, is what I think. Now, then Mayor Clark is not under any type of investigation, though. The rest of them are. Well, Mayor Johnson isn't either. Just these two women are.
Right.
But Mayor Clark, we didn't hear nothing about an FBI investigation going on with him, because, like you said, he's a lawyer. He know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He know how to be a cook.
Yeah, good cook.
The right way. Yeah, he know how to do it the right way, baby.
Exactly.
And so that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna do it, then hey, baby, let's do it the right way.
Do it right.
All that you can be. But I just, I'm just kind of kidding on that. I don't want anybody defrauding anybody. But you said something profound earlier. You said whenever we elect these people in office, we expect them to do something for us. Okay, that's fine, and we should have those expectations. Well, who has done anything for us that you know of?
Obama.
When was the first time anybody did anything for us?
I think Obama, when he did the Obamacare.
Was that for us or was that for everybody?
Well, it was for everybody, but Obama knows, or he knew, that the majority of people that were suffering from not having health care were poor people. And who were the majority of poor people? Black people, brown people.
Not necessarily. That's what they want you to think. It's more white people on government assistance and the poor than black people are.
I agree.
We're just in the spotlight and they just showcase us. Matter of factly, they have more crime than we have. In anything that they spotlight us on, they really do it more. But they put us in the front light and on the spotlight so that people can get a certain attitude against us. Meanwhile, look over here, but we're gonna be robbing you blind over there. And they're really good at doing that. And so I don't think any of these mayors are doing anything new under the sun. Just like Ecclesiastics, it tells you there's nothing new under the sun. And these four characters are not doing anything different than what has already been done before. It's just that they're black, they're in the spotlight, and they can't get away with it, because one thing about a black person, no matter where they are or what they do, I don't care if they're the janitor or they're the president, you have to be 10 times better.
Yep, that's true. And another thing is, we're not gonna, even though we should do it with our white counterparts, we're not gonna take it when our black and brown people are in those positions and we're being mistreated. Oh, we're gonna stand up and we're gonna say something.
Exactly. And so did they march before Mayor Clark? Did they march on the last mayor? And what did the last mayor do for him? And see, that's my whole question. Because see, I feel like it's a double standard when it comes to these black mayors. And they're not doing it. I mean, they may be, got their hand in the cookie jar. Okay, fine. But who don't have their hand in the cookie jar that's in the position of power?
Right.
Most people that's in the position of power have their hand in the cookie jar. It's just that they know how to stick their hand in it without nobody watching them. That's all. They just slick with it. And so I just need everybody to just pay attention there. They all do have similar stories, and I'm gonna exclude Mayor Johnson because, I just don't feel like Mayor Johnson really need to be, I don't feel like he's really done anything. And I don't live in Chicago. So, somebody from Chicago may feel a different way. And I have heard different stories about he hasn't done anything for the community, but who has?
Hasn't done nothing. It's just unbelievable that a person in power hasn't done nothing. I'm pretty sure he or she has done something. It may not be something that you want, but I'm pretty sure they've done something since they've been in office.
And also, if he get reelected, that lets you know he's greased some type of palms. And normally that's what they do. When they get in office, they make sure they pay attention to their constituents. I mean, I keep bringing Agent Orange back into this, but look what Agent Orange did for the white Christianity, the white Christian nationalists. He got rid of Roe versus Wade. He made sure, that his people were taken care of. He's giving them everything that they wanted and be damn everybody else. Because and he's going to do that again when he get back in office. He's going to work for his people. He's not going to work for us. Even though a president's supposed to, the president's supposed to be a president for everybody. A mayor's supposed to be a mayor for the whole entire city. But go to any black neighborhood in America, and all of them look the same to me. Run down, no grocery stores, no businesses, no new businesses. The roads are run down. The houses are run down. Here in Texas, I call Texas unique because Texas is real smart about what they do. What Texas does is they'll give us new projects. You know, they put new projects in my city, all around the city, so you don't come out there in their neighborhood. Okay. Texas, Texas does it smart. They'll give us some updates. You know, we still don't have that many grocery stores, but you know, we have a few dollar stores in our neighborhood so that we don't go to their dollar stores. They make good and sure they give us a little bit of what we need to keep us quiet and to keep us out of their areas. And it works. It does. It works.
Yeah.
And that's how Texas does it. You're not going to get everything that they get. We even got community centers now. Whereas when I was growing up here in this town, you had to go to the hospital or what have you. But now, you know, like you said, when Obamacare came on the scene, they started building new community centers. So, you know, everybody used to use the hospital for the doctor. Well, they kind of gotten away from that because the hospital was having to pay too much cost. And because people was using the hospital as a doctor's office, because, you know, a lot of people don't have a primary care doctor. A lot of people don't have a pediatrician. A lot of people just don't have health care, period. So what Texas did was they put community centers all around. And so the Spanish people got a community center. We have 2 or 3 community centers. They put 2 or 3 of them in every area. And they even made little mini hospitals out in the Clear People neighborhood. So everybody can be taken care of. Everybody can, you know, stay in their neighborhood.
Your own hood.
Yeah, baby, you can go down the street and go to the doctor. You ain't got to go across town no more.
Right.
And that's how Texas do it. You know, they make sure they make you separate but equal. And you it's not all the way equal, but you will get some of the services and things you need just in order for them to keep, you know, to keep it segregated. And it works. It works for them.
They're not keeping me out because I'm going to their neighborhood because I know that's better. So I'm going over there to shop. I'm going over there to eat, and I'm going over there to go to the doctor.
Then that's exactly what I do. I don't shop over here because it's old food. And so I go across. It is. You buy something in the grocery store over here, you better go and eat it today or tomorrow. It's not going to be any good. So I do it, and the meat is tough. You know, the food at this grocery store is old. And so it doesn't keep me from doing that. But a lot of people feel, you know, in this neighborhood, some people don't even have a car. And some people will say, even though it's probably like 8 minutes away, that's too far out. That's out there. You know, to them, that's out there. Well, it's not out there for me because I come from Dallas. And so it take you a whole hour just to get on the other side of town in Dallas. So an 8-minute drive is nothing for me to take. And so, but everybody is not going to have that attitude. A lot of people are going to shop at the local neighborhood store. A lot of people are going to stay on this side of town. A lot of people don't have a vehicle to go across town. And they're going to go to the community center here because they like the convenience of it, and rightfully so. And they put a few businesses, a Pizza Hut and a Domino's. You know, we got a few places of business. And like I said, you know, they give us enough places so that we can stay out of their area.
So what is the deal with this Harvey guy, though? Is he, I mean, it doesn't sound like I guess it's Mayor Clark. It doesn't sound like he is under investigation.
He's not.
So I guess
the residents are just not happy with him. You heard what they said.
Accountability is what I heard.
Yeah, transparency and accountability. And the main thing is, you know, most Black people attend church, and he's making the churches get a business law or they're going to have to shut down. So that's why people are marching. And people ought to be tired of marching because marches haven't gotten you anywhere. What you need to do is come together and vote him out. That's what you need to do. Because and marching is fine and all of that. But, you know, we've been marching for 40 or 50 years. It's time for action.
But he's running in Thornton now, right? Is what I heard. I heard that he was going to run for supervisor in Thornton. So
yeah, that's what I said.
He's going to run in Harvey. So he know he's not going to win. So he's going to go to another neighborhood.
So you're going to replace an unlikely person that you don't like for another person that they don't like.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's tit for tat, in my opinion. And so I just feel like, and I'm not saying Black people need to let their standards down, but we do need to give our politicians a break. Even though they don't do everything right, in my opinion, they're not doing anything wrong. They're not doing anything no different than what our white mayors are doing. It's just that whenever we do something, it's called out. And I'm not so sure that it's not the Agent Orange. Because see, I feel like everything is the Agent Orange problem, because you guys can tell I don't care for him that much. And so I feel like it's a war on the black man and the black woman to get everybody out of office, and let's put us back in office. Because see, I feel like it's a takeover. And I feel that they feel that we've taken over and they're not in position of power anymore, and they want to take some of this power away from us. Because have you ever heard your mom say you getting too big for your britches?
Yes.
Well, that's the attitude that the Caucasian people have in America, in my opinion. I think they feel like we're getting too big for our britches. And so we're going to get ready to wrap this up. And I sure appreciate everybody stopping by tonight and to join me at the MacMan After Dark show. And so let me have your final thoughts, because we have about 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna close it out so that you guys can y'all can get ready for work. I don't have no job, but
that's great.
Right. I'm retired for now, in case, until Agent Orange take my money away from me. If he take my money, I'm gonna have to get back out there in the workforce. But right now I'm a Cadillac it. But
I heard it.
I'm gonna continue. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to Cadillac it. So give me your final thoughts, and what do you think about tonight's show, and what do you think about these 4 people here?
Well, I do believe we do hold them at a higher standard. And like I said before, and we should. But on the other hand, like I said earlier, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So whatever the white counterparts are doing, then hey, you go for it. You do you, but just don't get caught in it. Do your thing, but help your people at the same time. And I think, like you said about the mayor of Chicago, I think the only reason why they dislike him is because of the immigrants. And he seems to, not to be under a FBI investigation. And he seems to be doing everything right. But just because of the immigrants, people are hating on him. But the other 3 got some issues. And I hope whatever investigation these other 2 women are under, I hope that it comes out, because we don't even know if they've done anything. It's just assumed at this point. But,
all right,
I'll be
you're
glad
innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
And just because you're in the investigation, and even if they indict you, until they convict you, you're still innocent in America, supposedly.
Yeah. And they are. So they're all innocent. So let's just see what happens in the upcoming races. And I just hope that these villages and these cities get get a leader, someone that's going to lead them, and make their communities better and not put a spotlight on them.
Okay, well, thank you for that insight. So listen, this is what I have to say about it. Initially, when you guys elected all of these people in office, you felt good about your decision. You felt like they were going to do exactly what you needed them to do. But once they get in office, as soon as they color outside the line, then you want to ostracize them. And I'm not saying that they're totally innocent, and I'm not saying that they're totally guilty. But as I guess said, as Q-Law said, you're innocent until proven guilty. Just because you have an investigation or an indictment, it doesn't mean that you have been convicted, right? And so in America, we need to learn not to jump to conclusions, not to just go ahead and put somebody underneath the prison just because they have an investigation going on. Because a lot of times an investigation is initiated for political reasons just to get you out of office. And Mayor Cantrell can't be doing too bad if she's been the mayor for 8 years. So somebody like her. Somebody like this mayor. Somebody like this other mayor. Mayor, what's his name? Christopher Clark. Yeah, somebody Clark. Yeah, somebody like Mayor Clark. He got in office. Somebody like Mayor Henyard. Mm-hmm. She got in office. And a lot of people like Mayor Johnson. Now, Henyard did get in office by a very slim margin, but she got in office. Mm-hmm. And okay, so if you didn't vote, you shouldn't have nothing to say. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, I see a lot of people complaining, but how many people that was complaining actually went to the ballot box and voted? How many didn't vote for this person and how many of them did vote for this person? Because it's all peaches and cream in the beginning. It's just like a relationship. Everybody happy. Everybody got the googly eyes. Everybody feeling warm and fuzzy. And as soon as the hard times hit, then we want to point the finger. And so this is what I say. If you want a representative for your city, vet your candidate. Get somebody in there with some morals, some ethics, some values, somebody that you really feel like is there for the people and not there to serve themselves. And as soon as you find somebody is there, for their own personal reasons, and you find out that they don't have your best interests at heart and they're serving their own interests, then just vote them out.
That's it.
Just vote them out. You don't have to call them out. And see, that's one thing about Black people that I don't like. We put our dirty laundry all out in the air for everybody to see. The clear people don't do that. I'm sorry, but they just don't do that. Whatever problem, it was just like when your mom say, my mom used to tell us, whatever go on in this house, it needs to stay in this house. And I feel that way about our politicians. Not that we need to hide their hands, not that we need to hide the things that they're doing, but just try not to spotlight them, even though I'm spotlighting them. But don't put them. But I didn't put them out there. Somebody else put them out there. I'm just reporting on the story. And so, but we need to stop ostracizing our people when they are in charge, because people, look, it took us a long time to get where we are. And it may take us a long time to even stay where we are. And if you'll look at what's going on in America, they are slowly but surely rolling back all of our rights and trying to take us back and trying to make us feel like we're not important and that we don't matter. And if the clear people had their way, nobody would be in charge but a white nationalist Christian man, not even a white woman. They're even trying to roll their rights back. So be careful for what you ask for. It's all I can say.
Yeah.
Be careful for what you put in office and be careful for what you ask for. And so, like I said, I'd like to thank you. And I'd like to thank everybody that came out tonight, that joined us, and that listened to our conversation. I felt like it was a great conversation. I enjoyed it tremendously. And so we're going to be back. What is tonight? Thursday? So yeah, we're going to be back Saturday, either Saturday or Sunday. I don't know which night I'm going to come live, but it just depends on my schedule. But I do intend to do another live this week, whether it be Saturday or Sunday. So join us. Normally, we're going to be coming on live. This is a new show for me. So give me a little grace if I make some mistakes or if I don't dot the I's across the T's like a professional content creator, because I'm just becoming one. And I don't even call myself a content creator. James always says that I'm a broadcaster. So that's really what my goal is, really just to try to bring you information and inspiration of what's going on in America. Because I actually wholeheartedly care about what happens to you, your community, and I care about what happens to my community. And I want us to be able to do something about it. Our hands are not tied anymore. This is the United States of America. And we've always had to fight for our freedom, and we're gonna have to continue to fight. Just because we had one black president, we can't just wash our hands and say, okay, well done, my good and faithful servant. We haven't done a good job yet. We're still working on it. And we still have to continue to fight for what's right. We have to uphold our people that's in office, hold them accountable. Let's not get it twisted, because you will be held accountable. But also, we don't have to push you down in the dirt either, if I can put it that way. We can hold you accountable, but also make sure that we lift you up. Because I think more of our black leaders need to be lifted up more than to be torn down. Because, hey, listen, we get torn down enough by society. We don't need no help with that. We don't need to tear ourselves down. So I say let's all come together. Let's try to live in peace and harmony. And let's just try to, do the right thing, black mayors, black politicians, black community leaders, black organizers, and get involved in your community. If you don't like the way the thing's going, Get involved. You can make a change. All it takes is one person. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at Harriet Tubman. Yeah, it only takes one person to make a change. And if you, in the Bible say, if you got 2 or 3 agreeing, then God will be in the mix. And he has been with us all this time. And I don't think he's going to leave us now. So I'm not trying to preach to you or nothing. Just throwing a little of my church knowledge. I know y'all don't think I know the Bible because I say I want to go to the church house. But trust me, I've been at that church house. And I've been at that church house all my life. I just don't go now for whatever personal reasons. But I know the Lord and I know the Bible. And I know what we can do as a Black community. We've done it before and we can do it again. And we're going to have to come together. We're going to have to stop all of this fighting, because what's ahead of us, we're going to have to come together and build a whole new coalition. And we're all going to have to inspire each other and lift each other up. And that's all I have to say about it. So good night, everybody. Thank you for coming out, and I'll see you guys Saturday. Good
night. Thank you for letting me on.
Oh, no problem. I enjoyed you. And thank you for coming on. And like I said, you're listening to the MacMan After Dark Evening Show. I'm your host. I said what I said, and we'll be back with you on Saturday. Have a great night, everybody.